DHammy presents AS2 Business Studies revision video tailored towards the CCEA spec, but it can help with all other specs in the United Kingdom. Our first topic of the AS2 Business Studies spec for Year 13 or Year 12 if you're in England is going to be accounts. How can they help? Stakeholders judge how well you're performing, company reports detail the profit earned, and you can set out community policies. You can re-elect directors at the next AGM, rivals compare amount of profit, and pressure gets found at the environmental policy. Comparing accounts over time. Only 1 year isn't a good overall view, so you have to look at data over several years to see the trend. An income statement is a profit and loss account showing revenues and expenses during a period, indicating how revenues are transformed into the next income. The statement of financial position provides a good overview of the entity's finances at a given time, showing information to owners and shareholders. They are used by comparing against competitors so managers assess the relative performance and how a business performed against a market. The weaknesses is that you value assets and liabilities involving subjective judgment, so the managers have the authority to make decisions on what to do to trade debtors in order to pay for stock. The accounts are descriptive of what occurred on the past instead of explaining why, and PLCs are required to provide detailed commentary on the statements. Our second topic will be break-even. Contribution looks at whether an individual product is helping a business to make a profit. It only looks at the variable cost of making it. Total contribution is calculated by contribution being sales price take away total variable cost, and total contribution is contribution per unit times the number of units sold. The weekly profit is total contribution take away fixed cost. Break-even analysis is a study of relationship between total cost and total revenue to identify output at which businesses break even. Fixed costs such as rent must be paid regardless of the output, and variable costs such as raw materials increases output increases. Break-even is calculated by fixed cost divided by selling price take away variable cost. The margin of safety is the difference between the actual output and the break-even output, and profit is total revenue take away total costs. Changes occurring to break-even are when the selling price increases or decreases, the variable cost per unit increase or decrease, or fixed costs increase or decrease. The advantage is that you can calculate how long it takes to reach a level of output needed to make a profit. They're simple and straightforward, and whether a business plan is likely to succeed financially. You can predict profit levels so you know the future levels to help plan future objectives and strategies. Disadvantage though is that they're unreliable, so it's difficult to predict the number of customers who buy the products. Sales unlikely to be the exact same as output, and fixed costs may not stay the same as output changes. This is an example of a break-even graph. Budgeting will be our next topic. A budget is a financial plan showing how money a business plans to spend or receive in the future time period. Its purpose is to control the level of spending, provide targets which staff are expected to meet, and after met, spending is contained. To reduce fraud, as all spending is authorised by budget holders, so staff stop spending money for personal use. Planning is managers foresee problems before they occur and stop the day-to-day running so the overworking stops, and they can be used for motivation, as the budget can be used for motivation by rewarding staff and meeting the set budgets. They assist the firm by planning business ventures and coordinating business activities, and flexible budgets are variable depending on variability and the results expected in the future. A fixed budget is used when future income and expenditure is known, and they're used when not expecting much variability in business. The difference is that fixed is inflexible, so it doesn't change with a change in output, but flexible can be adjusted to the level of activity. Fixed also assumes conditions don't change, but flexible can change according to conditions. It's also difficult to forecast accurately in fixed, but flexible shows the impact of all expenses. Cash flow. Cash flow is the flow of money into and out of a business. The inflows are the sales of a product or service, the customers, the local and national government grants, the sale of property or equipment, and loans. Outflows are the wages and expenses paid in stocks or purchased, the raw materials, the interest on loans, VAT, and rent. Forecasts are prepared when a new product or service is planned, new resources are being bought, a major sales campaign is planned, the making and selling of more products. If there's more money in than out, then it's positive cash flow. If there's more money out than in, then it's negative cash flow. The net monthly balance is total inflows take away total outflows, and the closing balance is the opening balance plus the net monthly balance. Benefits is that it identifies the potential cash flow problems in advance, guiding the firm towards appropriate action, avoiding the possibility of the company being forced out of business, and identifying the possibility of holding too much cash. Problems are that changes in consumer tastes, inaccurate market research, competition, and uncertainty. Insolvent is when a business runs out of cash and is not able to obtain new finance. Cash flow is important as it identifies potential shortfalls in the cash balance in advance. They make sure the business is afford to pay its suppliers and employees. They spot problems with the customer payments, and is an important discipline of financial planning along with banks requiring a regular forecast. Solutions to poor cash flow is borrowing some money, postpone all unnecessary spending, sell stock cheaply for cash, collect debts more aggressively, extend credit with suppliers, sell some unwanted assets, sell assets and lease them back, and reduce drawings. This is as an example of what a cash flow forecast would look like. E-business will be our next topic. E-business is the process of exchanging goods or information over the internet while taking an order, placing orders, or interacting with your own staff. E-commerce is the buying and selling on the internet or other computer network, and online retailers or e-businesses that use the internet to advertise and sell physical merchandise of one kind or another. Advantages are that you can sell goods at any time of day, they remain open on holidays, there's no rent purchases, you're open to the worldwide market, there's lower costs and less overheads, 24-hour shopping, and you bypass the wholesaler and retail outlets. Market research. Market research is a systematic and objective collection, analysis, and evaluation of information that is intended to assist the marketing process. Descriptive reasons to do so are achieving objectives to help achieve target sales, figuring out market share percentage, identifying trends, so sales are rising or falling and if the trend is stable or not, comparisons on how the sales and expenditures compare to rivals. Explanatory reasons help the organisation to investigate why things occur. Predictive reasons are information used to predict trends and find links between sets of data, and exploratory reasons are seeing how the consumers react to a new product. Primary research is a collection of information gathered first-hand for the specific purpose of the initial user. Experimenting is introducing a new product or service or feature, etc. And if it's popular, you can keep, or if not, discontinue. Advantages is that it's a cheap way of discovering customer preferences and considers actual customer behaviour. But disadvantages is that customer behaviour is not the same throughout the country, and you may delay the introduction of potentially successful strategy. Observation is watching customers while shopping to gather information on customer reactions and thought process. The advantage is that you examine actual customer behaviour in detail, and the layout of displays can be modified. Disadvantage is that it's expensive to employ specialist psychologists, and it shows what is happening but not why it's taking place. Focus groups are consumers encouraged to discuss feeling about the product. Advantages is that it helps uncover new ideas on how to market the products, but disadvantage is that there's an element of bias. Surveys are customers' questions about their product or service, and postal surveys is when surveys are posted to addresses of potential customers. Advantages is that it's cheap, you have a specific targeting of a geographical area, but disadvantages is that response rates are low and there's no guaranteed responses are representative. Interviews are conducted face-to-face with the interviewer filling an answer given by the interviewee. Advantages is that there's a wide range of information obtained as a question is open and closed, and disadvantage is that it's time consuming and you may get false answers. Telephone interviews are when the market researcher telephones members of the public seeking answers to particular questions. Advantage is that it's cheap, you're targeted directly at known customers, and disadvantage is that there's detailed questions difficult as people don't want to spend too much time on the phone. Internet surveys are questionnaires on internet sites enabling customers to express views on a product. Advantage is that they're inexpensive and surveys are updated frequently, but the disadvantage is that the sample tends to be biased. Secondary market research is when the information has already been collected for a different purpose, and the methods are governmental publications such as statistics, newspapers, company records, and the internet. Advantage is that the information is already available, so it's quick decisions taken and it's cheaper than primary. Disadvantage is that the information could be dated, so it's misleading, and there may not be any relevant secondary data to that business. Qualitative is a collection of information about the market based on subjective factors such as opinions and reasons. The advantage is that you gather insight on what to do to consumers as examine behaviour, you highlight issues business aren't aware of, but disadvantage is that it is expensive as you require skilled personnel to interpret it. Quantitative is a collection of information about market based on numbers. The advantage is that it summarizes data in a concise and meaningful way used to identify trends and project future trends. The disadvantage is that it lacks reliability and validity if the sample is too small. Market mapping is a technique that analyzes markets by looking at the features that distinguish different products or firms. Advantages is that it identifies closest rivals so you can plan competitive strategies, you can identify gaps or niches that the firm could fill, you help reposition the firm in the market. Disadvantage is that you can have an oversimplification of the product or business position, so it's subjective and so inaccurate and biased. Apparent gaps exist as customers are not interested in a combination of features. Sampling. Sampling is a gathering of data as a group of respondents who should be representative of a target market as a whole. Random sampling is when each member of a target population has an equal chance of being chosen, while quota and stratified sampling obtain a sample that reflects the type of consumers that a business wishes to gain further information from. Large samples cost more and are more reliable, but small samples cost less and are less reliable. The confidence level is the degree which stats are a reliable predictor of actual events, and the advantage is that it's used before marketing decisions, avoiding large expenses, it's flexible, and it enables the business to learn about the market more quickly. But the disadvantage is that it can be unrepresentative and may be biased, and it's difficult to locate suitable respondents. Market, size, share, and research. Market size is given in volume of products sold or value of products calculated by adding all different companies' sales value or volume together. The market share is a proportion of total market held by a particular company, and it's used over time to show if a market is growing or declining. The company with the biggest market share is the brand leader and is a good measure of how successful a company is. The brand leader has more sales and a higher distribution of its products, with offering lower discounts to the retail outlets, and these outlets receive more profits. The factors affecting the growth of the market is an increase in spending power, an increase in population, social changes, or changes in fashion. Market research is a process concerned with investigating the market for a product or service. Businesses try to look at what might happen if a new product was launched onto the market, and business failure is caused by failing to anticipate and meet customer needs. It is important to anticipate customer needs as it reduces the risk of business failure in forecasting future trends or needs. All businesses are aiming to forecast future trends and consumer needs ahead of their rivals, and they do this by market research. Marketing mix. The 7 P's are product, price, place, promotion, people, physical, and processes. The marketing mix is putting the right product in the right place at the right time with the right promotion. The product is an item bought or produced to satisfy the needs of a certain group of people, and it can be intangible, as in the form of services or goods. The place is the position where a business sells its products or services and how it distributes their final product or services. Price is the amount of money a customer pays for the product. It is unlikely that the target market pays a high price for a new business and not stable. Strategies include value pricing, which is setting the price by adding a fixed percentage to the cost of making or buying the product. Customers don't care about the production cost but the value. The cost plus is knowing the gross profit of each sale, and the business costs are being covered, but it leads to the product being priced uncompetitively. Penetration is increasing the market share of the product by setting relatively low initial entry price, and it aims to encourage customers to switch to a new product. Price skimming is setting a high price before competitors come into the market, but then cut prices as competitors emerge. Promotion is how a business gets their product saw by boosting brand recognition and sales. It's composed of sales organisation, sales promotion, public relations, which includes press releases, sponsorship, events, social media, etc., and advertising, which is TV, radio, and the internet, etc. People are the people who are within the company and the target market. People who believe in the business perform better and give honest feedback. Internal competitive advantage inherently affecting the business and the market. Processes is how the business is run and the different aspects of it. Systems and processes or organizations affect the execution of the service. Tweaking and enhancements tighten up the business, minimizing costs and maximizing profits. Physical is the evidence that a business operates, so it needs evidence that the service was delivered, and psychological evidence in marketing. It's manipulated consumer perception, so brands appear first in line. Price elasticity. Price elasticity of demand measures a change in demand for a good or service that results from a change in price of that good. The income elasticity of demand measures a change in demand for a good that has been caused by a change in people's income. The factors determining the price elasticity of demand includes close substitutes, as if they're available, have a tendency to shift from one part to another, and the price increases in demand is elastic. How much income is spent on the commodity, so the greater proportion of income spent on the commodity, the greater elasticity will be, and the number of uses the commodities put to, so it's important to determine the elasticity. The commodities are consumed jointly, an increase of one reduces the demand of both. The time element, a demand more elastic if time is involved is long, and if it is short, it is difficult to substitute one commodity for another. Switching between different products, a significant transaction cost, so demand tends to be inelastic. Who makes a purchase? The purchaser not directly paying for the good, demand is more inelastic, and the brand loyalty and attachment to certain brands override price changes, so inelastic. The inelastic demand is the change in any of the three factors: price, income, or advertising expenditure. It's less than proportional change in quantity demanded, so a fall in price is less than proportional increase in quantity demanded, so the sales increase, but the sales and revenue fall and total revenue falls. The unitary elastic of demand. The change in three factors cause an equally proportional change in the quantity demanded, so the fall in price is equally proportional to the increase in the quantity demanded, so the sales increase, but the revenue falls, but the total revenue stays the same. The elastic demand is a change in three factors with more than proportional change in the quantity demanded. So a fall in price has a more than proportional increase in the quantity demanded, meaning the total revenue of each item sold and fall in sales have increased, but they're more than proportionally, so the total revenue has increased. To calculate the elasticity of demand, if the answer is less than 1, it's inelastic. If the answer is 1, then it's unitary elastic, and if the answer is more than 1, it's elastic. Step 1, change in price divided by original price times by 100. Step 2 is change in sales divided by original sales times by 100. And step 3 of price elasticity of demand is step 2 divided by step 1. Calculating change in revenue. Step 1 is an increase in incomes times by the income elasticity of demand. So an example is 10% times 2.5 is 25. Step 2 is the sales times the answer to step 1. So 25% times 175,000 is 43,750. Step 3 is adding or subtracting to increase sales. An example would be 175,000 plus 43,750 equals 218,750. The product life cycle. The product life cycle describes the stages a product goes through from when first thought of until it is removed from the market. The stages is the introduction, so research and development and launching the product. Then growth, when the sales are increasing at their fastest rate. Maturity is when the sales are at their highest or near their highest and the rate of growth is slowing down. Saturation is when the sales are at their highest but then they soon decline without extension strategies. Decline is the final stage when the sales begin to fall. Extension strategies include new variations, limited edition versions, new flavours, new segments, new design, new branding and packaging, and a price reduction. Ratios. You're usually given the ratio, but for next year you aren't. Ratio analysis is used to compare the performance of a business. Net profit percentage is the profit from buying and selling of goods, and you improve this by raising the selling price or negotiating deals with cheaper suppliers. Net profit percentage is calculated by net profit before tax divided by sales times by 100. Liquidity ratios calculate the organization's ability to turn assets into cash in order to pay debts. Current ratios demonstrate the ability to meet short-term creditors. The ideal is 2:1. 4:1 means it's too much stock, and 1:1 means it can't meet debts. The current ratio is current assets divided by current liabilities. Profitability ratios measure how much profit an organization makes. The return on capital employed, or ROIC, calculates how much money an investor will get back after a period of time. You weigh up the amount you receive from an investment with the risk involved, and if you would have received as good a deal from a bank. So ROIC is net sales divided by capital at start times by 100. Gearing ratio, if it's high, then it means you have great leverage where the company is using debts to pay for operations and you have trouble meeting the debt but repayments could risk bankruptcy. Gearing means the long-term liability divided by capital employed times by 100. If it's higher than 50%, then you're highly geared, so you can't make large debt repayments, but if it's less than 50%, then you're low geared and debt repayments are not a significant outflow. Advantages include that you can compare the current performance of previous records and the firm's performance of similar competitors. You monitor and identify issues highlighted and resolved. The disadvantage is that information is historic and not current. It doesn't take into account external factors such as a worldwide recession, and it doesn't measure the human element of a firm. Our final topic will be sources of finance. Short term is repayable within a 1-year period. They include trade credit, which offers customers a set number of days in which to pay for a good or service. If it's more than 30 days, and it causes cash flow problems, and it offers a discount for paying quickly. Overdraft is offered by banks and it's easy to arrange and flexible but expensive as you borrow up to an agreed limit for a period of time, and it has a higher interest rate than a loan. Debt factoring is when a business sends out bills but are not paid, so they sell the bills to gain cash, and a factoring firm pays up to 80% of the value in it. The benefit is that the firm is likely to have a low overdraft and pay less interest and receive cash from sales more quickly. Medium term is 1 to 7 years, and possible sources are leasing and a bank loan. Long term is money to purchase lands and buildings, such as reinvesting profits, so you avoid the loan interest, you have a low dividend that's available to profitable firms only though, and it's not sufficient for expensive items. A mortgage has land security being collateral, loans can be long, it has fixed or variable rates, and the remortgage to raise capital. Share or equity capital. You raise capital selling shares to investors, and if it's successful and the price increases, you pay the shareholders a proportion of profit and a dividend. Ordinary shares provide a variable dividend depending on how well the business does, and they can vote at the AGM. Preference shares have a priority and get paid dividend before the ordinary shareholders. So if the profits are small, then the ordinary shares lose out as they don't have a fixed dividend, but the preference shares do. Debentures is a fixed rate of an interest on a loan, and it's a way of raising capital, retaining control of a business. Government grants, such as selective regional assistance, is when the government offers grants to businesses moving into areas of economic deprivation and creates employment. Enterprise grants is when there's less than 250 employees creating jobs in development areas. European Structural Funds is funding from the EU improving the infrastructure and skills in certain parts of the UK, and enterprise zones is revitalising the inner city areas, and the firms benefit from tax incentives and subsidised premises. Thank you for watching this video. Good luck in your exam.